नमस्कार दोस्तों, आप सभी का स्वागत है द स्पीकिंग बुक के डे 11 में एक नया एपिसोड और एक नई किताब के साथ। आशा करती हूं कि आपको हमारे एपिसोड्स पसंद आ रहे होंगे। कमेंट सेक्शन में जरूर बताइएगा कि आपको ये इनिशिएटिव कैसा लग रहा है। तो आइए शुरू करते हैं आज का एपिसोड। आज जिस बुक के बारे में हम बात करने वाले हैं उस बुक का नाम है टीनोलॉजी। टीन्स के बारे में आज हम इस बुक में बात करेंगे। ये बुक, दिस बुक is a research, practice and lived experiences into actionable strategies for parents and teenagers. Whether you are a parent looking for guidance or a teen seeking directions, the insights will help you navigate adolescence with clarity and confidence. So without any further delay, हम इनवाइट करना चाहेंगे इस बुक के ऑथर मिस्टर श्रीधर को। Hello, sir. Hello. How are you?
I'm very good. Thanks, Ridhima ji. Thanks for having me over.
So, sir, how do you feel that today you are a part of this show and you will be the voice to your book?
First of all, it's pretty exciting. Book though, it is a very important milestone for me personally. So I'm really looking forward to have a good conversations with you, Ridhima ji.
Same here, sir. Same here. We would love to learn about the book now.
Certainly.
So, just wanted to ask you, why did this book choose you as an author?
Good question. So honestly, I feel like I did not just write this book, Ridhima ji. So I wrote it through, the book actually wrote it through my experiences. See, from my teenage struggle to my careers in actually mentoring, in psychology, and everything that I have worked actually led me here. See, observing human behavior has always been my second nature. Okay. And over the years, I have seen a lot of teens struggle unnecessarily. And बात ये है कि parents are not really equipped for the right information and tools to parent teenagers. तो मैंने एक बड़ा सा गैप देखा है कि this has to be filled. And that is one big gap that I wanted to fill through this particular book. So actually, if I say I did not write this book, but the book chose me. And all my living experiences I have shared in this particular book.
So, bilkul, sir, this line of yours that this book chose you, I think every author does not choose the subject chooses the author. So, and teenage, जैसे कि हमारे audience भी मानते होंगे कि teenage एक बहुत ही difficult age होती है. There are so many questions in our mind. तो आपने उन questions को address किया है एक guide book के जरिए जिसमें parents भी हैं, teenagers भी हैं. This book will be really helpful. So whenever somebody reads this book, what kind of journey this book is taking that reader to?
Well, I think that it is like a road map, एक map की तरह, क्योंकि teenage को पालना, that is parenting a teenager, is a very difficult task. So most parents start with, let's say, confusion and a frustration of how to deal with their children, and from then moving towards a clarity and finally getting this confidence that they can really thrive their children. Because parenting teen today is really overwhelming with all that social media, with all the new challenges. So I wanted my readers to feel that they are seen, they are heard and empowered. Therefore, it is not just another parenting book. It's like a guide that actually simplifies all these confusion and chaos. I wanted to provide a structured and a practical approach for the parents, Ridhima ji. So it is like a map for the parents to see how they can navigate through this parenting journey. At the end of this book, reading this book, parents should actually feel light and they should know that, hey, it's okay that all these problems can happen to us and I know how to handle these things. That is what I wanted to leave the journey for the readers.
So as you rightly said that nowadays parenting has become more complex because it is so many things. Every child is exposed to so many things, YouTube, Instagram, and all the social media platforms out there. So parents also, I think, feel sometimes very overwhelmed with all these confusions and daily issues, right? So this book is for those who actually is feeling are feeling very overwhelmed, and this book can be a guidance to those.
Absolutely.
सो आपकी किताब के पन्ने कौन सी इमोशंस कैरी करते हैं सर? व्हाट इमोशंस डू दे कैरी?
Oh, so many actually. There's a mix of empathy, frustration, and hope. Kyunki these are the actual feelings that even parents of teenagers go through. In fact, I have poured all my struggles, the stories of the teenagers that I have worked with, okay, the concerns that parents actually had shared with me. All of these things I have put it. But at its core, the book is full of optimism. It actually reassures parents that yes, challenges will come, but it is the right mindset and the tools that they have that can actually build them the confidence and actually lead the teenagers to the future ready. So I would say that it's mostly optimism, so to speak.
True, challenges are actually a part of a parent's life, be it teenage, be it any other age, but teenage being the most challenging. I think this book can totally act as a guidebook to that kind of parents. So, whenever somebody is reading this book, what will be the most important thing that will register in that parent's mind, or maybe the reader's mind? What is that one thing do you think that this book will get registered in the mind?
So if I would say parenting teams should not be an exhausting thing. And so, because many parents feel like they're constantly firefighting, they're dealing with the mood swings of the teenagers, the conflicts, and a lot of uncertainty because there is a career, there is a private life. But my book offers the new perspective. It's a structured, science-backed way for parents to not feel drained and give a direction. So readers will remember that the parenting can be simpler and there are more effective ways, when it is approached very scientifically and with the right mindset and tools. And that is what the reader will be remembering.
Correct. So, any few tips that you can tell what this book carries?
Right. So among most important thing, if I've seen, I have given structured this entire thing in a very simple way called how, why, and what. Okay, how a teen brain works, what is the kind of behavior and developmental needs and changes that happens. Okay, why do they behave the way they do, what are the kind of challenges that they face, and finally as parents, what is it that they can do based on each responses. तो ये तीनों सवालों का हाउ व्हाट एंड व्हाई द एंटायर बुक इज स्ट्रक्चर्ड. तो पढ़ने वालों को तो आसान से एक गाइड जैसा भी मिल सकता है, एक मैप भी बोल सकते हैं कि दैट इज द डायरेक्शन दैट इज गिवन. सो दीज आर द की थिंग्स दैट वी गिव. आखिर में वी वांट द टीनेजर टू बी empowered and be ready for the future, while the parent and teen relationship ज्यादातर ये स्ट्रेन रिलेशनशिप होता है, तो वी वांट टू मेक इट मोर कनेक्टेड एंड लास्टिंग.
So, very interesting to know this. So, whenever something is getting published, I think that time is the most overwhelming time for a book. So, how did your book feel when it got published?
Well, actually, I haven't officially launched it yet, but I have imagined that moment. The biggest feeling is that pure contentment. Like I'm doing my part of for this generation, actually. And more than that, there is a sense of peace, knowing that even if I'm not around someday, or if I don't get a chance to speak the person directly, my work will be there, helping both parents and teenagers. So it's like leaving behind a piece of me that can keep making a difference to the society. So I'm feeling a lot more content and satisfied that yes, mera to kuch contribution to the society is there, and I want to see that it can impact the lives of most of the teenagers and the parents out there.
True. आई थिंक आई एग्री कि एक कंटेंटमेंट रहता है एक बुक के अंदर भी, कि वेन एवर वी आर राइटिंग अ बुक, तो उस बुक के लिए भी एक जर्नी हम लिख रहे होते हैं. सो अगर वो जर्नी, इट कैन चेंज अ लाइफ ऑफ एटलीस्ट वन पर्सन ऑल्सो, दैट दैट बुक कंप्लीट्स is
Yeah,
its existence. So I think that contentment is a very very major feeling for any book to be published.
absolutely.
So I'm sure that there are a lot of feedbacks that comes to a book when it is launched. So what kind of feedbacks were there, and how did the book feel on those feedbacks?
I would really be grateful for any kind of a feedback, because every comment, whether it's a praise or even a constructive criticism, to me, it means that book is starting the conversation, right? It's making parents think and actually helping them in some way. But I especially love hearing when parents have actually applied these strategies and they have seen a positive change in their teens, because it really makes all the efforts worthwhile.
Correct.
So for me, all kind of feedback is most welcome because it helps me enrich. But the fundamental thing is that when somebody has given the feedback, they have actually gone through that. They have spent some time. They are interested in their teenage development. So that is very fulfilling, and I'm really grateful for that.
सो दोस्तों, श्रीधर जी ने एक बहुत अच्छी बात की कि बेसिकली आपने बुक पढ़ी है, वो ही सबसे बड़ा फीडबैक है. चाहे वो फीडबैक अच्छा हो या क्रिटिसिज्म से भरा हो, लेकिन एटलीस्ट दैट पर्सन, उसने वो बुक खरीदी, उस बुक को पढ़ा, एंड एक फीडबैक फॉर्म किया अपने माइंड में, विच इज एक्चुअली द पर्पस ऑफ राइटिंग एनी बुक, राइट? दैट समबडी शुड रीड दैट बुक. सो वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग सर. So whenever we are writing a book, so sometimes you are in a dilemma, like, whether the book will be able to justify the target audience or not, whatever content that book is carrying, whether it would be justified or not. So was this book able to justify whatever the book had to carry as a content?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Actually, I actually did not want to fill the pages with a lot of abstract theories or generic advice. And I've seen a lot of parenting books contain heavy science related. Now, every chapter is rooted in science, but explained in a way that's easy to understand. And more importantly, जो अप्लाई करने के लिए एक अपॉर्चुनिटी देता है कि रियल लाइफ में. So that is what the gap that I saw in the current parenting book, which I wanted to bring in. I'm so happy that it is going to be justify the readers' expectations, because readers actually don't have to take my word, because I'm sure they will see the results in their own parenting journey. But I've seen that there is a huge gap in what is currently existing, and especially in the Indian context, we have very less books that is relevant to Indian context. हालत में क्या होता है कि हमेशा लॉट ऑफ पेरेंटिंग बुक्स कम फ्रॉम द वेस्ट, तो उसका रहन सहन, उसका कल्चर बहुत अलग से होता है. कि देखिए, एक उदाहरण देता हूँ कि 18 साल का मतलब 18 years को एवरी चाइल्ड विल गेट आउट एंड बिकम इंडिपेंडेंट इन द यूएस. So that doesn't apply to Indian context. So parenting a teen is very different. So I feel that for Indian audience particularly, and also largely even the Asian audience, where you see Southeast or Southwest Asian countries,
Close
the
knit
culture
families, we see close
remains
knit
the
families.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it definitely justifies the readers.
I'm sure, sir, parenting is very different in East, Western and Asian cultures. We come from a background where we believe in close knit families, even after, crossing teenage and, being in your early 20s, late 20s. Parents, we tend to stay with the parents. So
Right.
obviously, parenting is very different here. And as you rightly said, that there are a lot of books of foreign authors telling about parenting, which actually does not, very well fits in the Indian culture.
Right.
Correct. So I'm sure this book carries a lot of chapters. They are, there are different kind of experiences that this book has lived. So what is the favorite experience or the favorite chapter of this book?
मुझे लगता है कि द चैप्टर दैट इज अबाउट टीन ब्रेन डेवलपमेंट, तो not the neuroscience but the mind development is most important, because once parents understand how their teens brain is actually wired, so everything else starts making sense. जैसे कि द मूड स्विंग्स, द इम्पल्सिव डिसीजन जो होता है, द रेसिस्टेंस टू एनी ओबेइंग एनी ऑर्डर्स, All of these things come from a particular way though teenagers grow. So jab when you read this brain development chapter, right, it is not spoken on the science, but a very simple way that the parents can understand. That's why this chapter is a game changer. It actually shifts the way parents see their teens. And then they parenting is also gets more patience, they get more empathetic, and also their approach will be much more strategic. So this is the chapter I would say is more special for me.
And I think this is the most painful area also, because the generation gap that we talk about, like, parents are not able to actually put them into the shoes of what a teenager is feeling, because the teenager is growing and is exposed to so many new things. And what exactly they are feeling, if the parents start understanding that, I think that won't be very overwhelming for the parents then, because then they will be able to see through what the children are going through, right?
Absolutely.
So obviously the books are available in libraries. There are a lot of libraries. So what do you think your book will belong to? Which section of the library?
Acha, see, I feel right at home if it's next to the books list as the whole, I think it's a whole brain child by Daniel Siegel, or
Okay.
Grit by Angela Duckworth. It's right in the shelf there, actually. And the Atomic Habits, we all know that by James Clear, because these books are like just similar like mine. They focus on the long-term growth, the resilience, and mostly practical strategies to navigate the life. So these are my favorite books, and I've also been kind of inspired. If you see that my approach and what is the kind of reader's perception at the end of it and the takeaways, these three books perhaps are the ones: the Whole Brain Child, the Great Book, and the Atomic Habits.
So I think this would be the Indian version of parenting in those books.
Absolutely.
Great. So Bollywood is also a very big part of Indian industry. So what do you think, if this book has to be converted into a movie? So what kind of movie it would be?
Achha, Ridhima ji, we are just in a hangover of that adolescence, Netflix series that is doing a rage. But if you ask me, my work, it won't be a traditional movie. It'll be more like a documentary that weaves the real stories of teens and parents, like with some kind of expert insights. So you may think of it as a mix of emotional storytelling and a little bit eye opener science that actually shifts from parenting a teens from where they are to where they should be. Okay,
Right.
and I believe that this is a huge opportunity for Indian parents, because a lot of times we keep going in our day-to-day life not knowing the simple basic etiquettes of parenting. This would make a great documentary, if you ask me, if you have to do it as a
We will definitely look forward for such a documentary, because I think people are really active on such platforms like Netflix. It would be a better way to reach people, masses. So, as you said that there are very live experiences that this book has recorded. So, are these live experiences only from the author, from your end, or is it is around you also that you felt such stories?
So these are a lot more from my personal experiences, in the sense the thing that I've coached, I've trained, but a lot of research that I have done throughout in the process of gaining my expertise and working. So what happens is you have these case studies across the board, especially in the research platforms. So all of these things are built based on those things. And also my practice, whether it's using the CBT, DBT, or behavior modification approaches that I build, all of these things have been inspired through that. So I would say that it's an amalgamation of multiple sources of inspirations from where I brought this.
Okay. So मैं अपने ऑडियंस को बताना चाहूंगी that we are talking about this book. This book is available on Amazon, and ये book is a guidebook for parents to handle teenage students. It's as the subtitle says, it's a common science approach. So any explanation on common science approach, sir?
ना एब्सोल्युटली आपने बहुत अच्छा सवाल पूछा, क्योंकि मुझे पहला तो टीनोलॉजी देखिए, टीन इज दैट सब्जेक्ट मैटर दैट वी आर टॉकिंग, ओलॉजी यूजुअली यूज्ड फॉर अ साइंस. ओके,
Right.
लेकिन द टीनोलॉजी इज द साइंस दैट पेरेंट्स शुड नो बट दे हैव नॉट बीन टॉट. लेकिन
Right.
ये कॉमन सेंस अप्रोच, कॉमन साइंस अप्रोच क्या है कि नहीं? सो आई फील दैट पेरेंटिंग शुड बी रियली अ कॉमन सेंस, लेकिन that has to be strongly rooted in the science. तो इस मिलन का जो होता है, दो दैट इज व्हाट इज द कॉमन साइंस अप्रोच, ताकि इट्स नॉट लाइक एनीबडीज गेस, इट्स नॉट अ गेस वर्क, it is not hypothesis that the parents will follow, but a structured way, making it very simple as much as a common sense. That is the reason. Yet if you see that future ready, क्योंकि पालना है बच्चों को is not simply just making them good children, but can we prepare our children to be ready for the future, especially the AI driven future, जहाँ पे the work and life will be very very different. तो इस नजर से how are we bringing up the children, and that is the inspiration between title teenology, a common science approach to parenting a future ready teen.
Very, very interesting, sir. And I'm sure that, as soon as the teenage ends, the child enters into adulthood, which is working and, facing the world altogether. So they have to be prepared for future as well, just not handling the current situation, but also be future ready.
Absolutely.
So this book is currently available in English. So are you planning to translate this book? Does this book wants to get translated to various languages?
As I mentioned, it is a lot more culturally sensitized to Indian demography and also the South Asian. I
Right.
would see that there is some portion which is common. The biological, across the globe for all cultures, it remains the same. But there are some portions which are culturally sensitive.
Right.
So, one, it is more than happy because there is definitely a lot of takeaways in different regional languages, at least to start with in India. Okay, but then if it is taken abroad also, there are some takeaways because there are a lot of Indian diaspora culturally sensitized from India, but they are living abroad. It is helpful for them as well. My goal is that eventually can make it also globally relevant series as we progress further.
Okay. So you are the author of the book. Does this book actually have some complaints from you?
Maybe just one. I took a long time to write it. I kept feeling like, I need more experience and more insights and more research. So I kind of complained myself. But looking back, I realized that every delay, whatever happened, it's made my book much more
It's
richer
for
and
good.
more impactful. Yeah, it was for good. So
सो आई थिंक ये एक शिकायत जो होती है हर बुक की अपने लेखक से होती होगी कि दे टेक अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम बिकॉज एक्चुअली
um,
बुक राइटिंग इज a very very emotional process for an author as well, so
yes.
it takes a lot of time to build up something which you have been thinking since long. So I
और
think is
दूसरी
शिकायत
बात,
so your book will be able to forgive you.
या दूसरी बात क्या है कि उसका बहुत जिम्मेदारी है ना, एक बुक लिखना है तो एक एक शब्द का यू गॉट टू बी वैलिड. तो आई हैड टू गो थ्रू अ लॉट ऑफ रिसर्च पेपर्स टू मेक श्योर दैट एवरी स्टेटमेंट दैट इज मेड शुड बी वैलिडेटेड एंड इन द कॉन्टेक्स्ट. तो टाइम तो लगता है, लेकिन कोई शिकायत नहीं, क्योंकि एट द एंड ऑफ इट वी हैव गॉट वन ऑफ द
Good,
ग्रेटेस्ट
good.
दैट वी
Yeah.
हैव.
सो जैसे कि आपने बताया कि ये बुक पेरेंट्स के लिए है, तो आप थोड़ा सा और बताएंगे कि ये किन रीडर्स के लिए एप्लीकेबल है? दिस बुक इज फॉर whom? What is the target audience?
देखिए, एक्चुअली इट इज फॉर पेरेंट्स, बट especially a lot of parents, I'll tell you, Indian diaspora, if you look at it, 90% of the parents are not really equipped with learning the parenting skills. तो पेरेंट को बनता ही है, okay, who feel lost or frustrated and overwhelmed. But honestly, it's not just for them, because a lot of people who are dealing with the children, such as teachers, the counselors who are trying to deal with the teenagers, and even teens themselves, it can benefit all of these people. And I'm looking at more and more people who are trying to work, like social work workers working with the teenagers. It's very helpful for them to understand what runs inside the mind of a teenager. So yeah, it's for most of them as well.
सो आई थिंक मेजरली ये बुक अभी 3 लोगों को हेल्प कर रही है, वो है पेरेंट्स, टीचर्स एंड टीनेजर्स देमसेल्व्स. So these are the major target audience, obviously followed by many other people who are dealing with teenagers. So definitely ये बुक उन सब के लिए है. So Amazon पे ये बुक लाइव है और डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में इस बुक का लिंक है. So प्लीज जाइए और इस बुक को खरीदिए. एंड एज सर सेड, हर बुक को फीडबैक की जरूरत होती है, तो अच्छा हो या बुरा फीडबैक जरूर दीजिएगा.
Absolutely.
सो अगर ये बुक अपने रीडर से कोई सवाल पूछ सकती, इफ दिस बुक कुड आस्क एनी क्वेश्चन टू द रीडर, व्हाट क्वेश्चन इट वुड बी?
Well, it may if you ask me, what kind of parenting struggles do you have, or are you able to see the things differently? Perhaps these are the questions that comes to my mind, right? What kind of a challenge that as a parenting feels like?
You're facing.
That's the kind of a question that the book kind of asks.
So I think they can ask the question and even answer it in future pages.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So whenever a reader reads this book, will it be a friend to him, or a mentor to him, or a guide to him, or an advisor?
No, I would see that it's more of a guide and advisor, because I want this book to be a resource that parents can turn whenever they are facing a challenge. So जैसे कि एक गाइड एक इफ यू सी अ डिक्शनरी, हम किसी अंग्रेज का शब्द के लिए ढूंढने के लिए, मीनिंग ढूंढने के लिए एक डिक्शनरी देखते हैं, ऐसे ही कि पेरेंटिंग जर्नी में कोई मैप नहीं है या गाइड नहीं है. तो आई वांटेड दिस बुक टू बी मोर लाइक अ गाइड एंड एडवाइजर, so they can revisit and apply different strategies based on whatever they are facing. So that's the way I'm looking at as a guide and an advisor.
And I think somebody who's a guide and advisor can at some point be a friend too, right?
Yeah.
So at the end, it can be a friend too, because a guide can always be a friend.
That is a good place to be in, right? So if we have moved
Right,
to a group of friends, I think we have achieved our goal.
right, correct. So whenever somebody reads your book, the book is happy when somebody purchases that book, reads that book, or appreciates that book. When is the book the most happy?
When somebody reads it, because that's the real transformation happens. So I believe that you can have any number of skills, but the willingness is door to possibility. तो अगर बुक ही नहीं पढ़ा तो there is no possibility, because I am sure once they open, I have a very strong feeling they are not going to let go of it. So it's not about selling copies for me, but it is about changing the families, because that's the ultimate satisfaction that I would get. And that's what I said when the feedback, when they say I have applied it, it is good, but I have opened it, is excellent. That's the starting point that I would really look for.
That actually changes the life. Once
Yeah.
you pick up the book and open it and at least start reading few pages of it,
Yes.
you are already there.
एब्सोल्युटली, एब्सोल्युटली. हमेशा क्या प्रॉब्लम होता है पेरेंट्स का कि इतने जिंदगी का इतना बिजी हो जाता है कि उनको टाइम नहीं मिलता है. सो ऑफन प्रॉब्लम फॉर कोचेस और काउंसलर्स और साइकोलॉजिस्ट लाइक अस इज, कैन द पेरेंट्स कम एंड सिट अक्रॉस द टेबल. जब वो बैठते हैं तो प्रॉब्लम तो आधा हो गया, सॉल्व हो गया. So when they open the book, I think 50% of the problems are really solved, because they have opened up to the possibilities of reformation.
True. True. So, sir, you actually answered beautifully all the questions that were asked on behalf of your book. And I think your book would be the happiest today that it could connect to the readers. So, आपकी किताब इस प्रोग्राम के माध्यम से क्या हमारे व्यूअर्स को, पोटेंशियल रीडर्स को कुछ बोलना चाहेगी और कुछ बताना चाहेगी?
हाँ, तो अगेन इंडियन ऑडियंस को मैं एक बात बताता हूँ कि हमेशा देखता हूँ बच्चे से, टीनेज से बहुत सारा कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स होता रहता है, and wasted energy. So I want to say that the parenting is especially for a future ready teen isn't about controlling, though तो उसका कंट्रोल करने का जरूरी नहीं, it's about guiding them. तो जब वो कनेक्शन बनता है, when you are able to understand the science behind why they are behaving the way they behave, parents will actually stop all these daily battles, and then the journey becomes much more meaningful, and it becomes a collaboration. So I would want to really convey that, saying that parenting should not be hard, and your thumb rule is that if you're having too many conflicts at home, then it's time to pause and reflect on how you would want to take it forward. It is not the right way to go. Parenting can be very pleasant, a memorable one, and it's actually a memorable one. If I would want to leave it with that, so that's the message that I would want to leave with.
True, and actually when it's memorable only तभी आप वो connection बना पाएंगे future के लिए भी. Otherwise your child will always see you as somebody who does not understands you, right? So I guess उसके लिए बहुत जरूरी है कि जो roots हैं वो ही बहुत memorable हो. You should be fond of each other, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So thank you so much, Sridhar ji. You took out time, spoke on behalf of your book. You be a part of this program. So thank you so much, and we look forward for your success.
Thank you so much, Ridhima ji, and also the speaking book and a very great initiative. I'm looking forward to have a great, meaningful conversation. Thanks for providing this platform, because for authors like us, I think it's a great way to reach out to the world where the parents are looking out for us and we are here. So you are making that possible, our dreams also possible from both sides. So thank you so much.
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू। सो दोस्तों, ये था आज डे 11 हमारे द स्पीकिंग बुक का, जिसमें आज हमने सीखा कि पेरेंटिंग मुश्किल नहीं होती, हम कई बार समझ ही नहीं पाते कि हमारे बच्चे हमसे क्या चाहते हैं। सो ये बुक की आज हमने बात की, जिस बुक में टीनेजर्स को कवर किया गया है। ये गाइड बुक है पेरेंट्स के लिए कि आप कैसे अपने टीनेज बच्चों के साथ एक कनेक्शन बना सकते हैं, एक हार्श पेरेंटिंग ना करते हुए उसे एक मेमोरेबल पेरेंटिंग बना सकते हैं। यू कैन स्टेप इनटू देयर शूज एंड अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट दे आर गोइंग थ्रू। सो कमेंट सेक्शन में जरूर बताइएगा कि आपको ये सेशंस कैसे लग रहे हैं। आपका फीडबैक हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। आपके फेवरेट शो मेरी किताब मेरी कहानी का नेक्स्ट सीजन आने वाला है, और अगर आप उसमें गेस्ट स्पीकर बन के आना चाहते हैं तो कुछ नंबर्स हमें कमेंट सेक्शन में प्रोवाइड किए हैं, उनसे कांटेक्ट कीजिए और अपनी बुक की आवाज बनकर हमारे नेक्स्ट सीजन में आइए। तब तक के लिए थैंक यू सो मच एंड एंजॉय योरसेल्फ। थैंक यू।